So we are talking here with Reagan Grimsley at the University of Alabama, Huntsville, and Reagan has been so gracious in helping get us set up with some great research opportunities here at the university, and this being our first trip down to Huntsville, we just couldn't be happier with the way things are going. But Reagan, we wanted to just talk to you for a few minutes and get a sense of the wonderful collection that the university has here on Apollo.
Sure. Well, as I mentioned before, our collection actually dates back to the Apollo era itself, because as Apollo had a great impact on Huntsville, people began to recognize that we need to document, particularly the Saturn V launch vehicle. And so NASA began a project that resulted in the book Stages to Saturn, where they collected material about the Apollo mission. This was in the late 60s. And some of the material behind us actually is the material that was collected for that. One of the people that worked on that was David Christensen, and unfortunately Dave passed away a couple months ago. But he literally went out and collected the documentation so that the book could be written and that we could have this wonderful archives of everything from the technical manuals up to the specs for the Saturn V, and it was one of our first collections that came in. Dave, later in his lifetime, worked on many other projects and gave us his archival material, which I think that you've looked at, and about 148 boxes or so.
Oh, wow.
So fairly significant. I think we also looked at the materials of Chuck Lundquist, who Chuck came here as part of the 9330th Technical Services Unit and became one of the Von Braun rocket team, essentially, until he left to take a position elsewhere. Then we looked at some wonderful photos, and these are from the Bob Jones collection. And Bob Jones was a senator from a congressman from our region from 47 to 77, and he was instrumental in the TVA in rural housing, but of course also with armed services, because the main drivers for the Huntsville economy were TVA and Redstone Arsenal, and then later, of course, NASA. We have a variety of collections here that focus on individuals. We have a number of collections from the German rocket team. We have a number of collections from individual scientists or researchers, whether they may have been from NASA or they may have worked for a contractor. And then we have our wonderful oral history collection, which I think that you have looked at online, and some of it is available through a YouTube channel. We're actually working on trying to get all of our audio and video oral histories up onto YouTube, so they'll be freely accessible.
Wow.
So I think that's a great thing for people out there who are looking for the past. But I think we're excited about the project that you're working on, because it's going to help us document the past. So it's not just creating a documentary, because we all know that to create that documentary you have to go out and you have to talk to people, some of whom we may have never heard from before, and get a totally different perspective on the Apollo generation.
That's what we're hoping to do, and we know that the university, we're in good hands with you guys, and it's just really wonderful to be a part of this process with you. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for coming out.